The Capstone project is a culminating ninth grade passion project, which incorporates elements of research, opinion, and persuasion, where students in the ninth grade explore and consider solutions to issues that are prevalent in today's society that they care deeply about.
These are issues that we're faced with today where there are no clear solutions, but there are clear challenges. And students are expected to dive into these issues, to research, to become well-informed about the various sides of these topics, and then to propose what they believe to be workable, effective solutions.
They spend a lot of time in the beginning really trying to think of things that matter to them, think of either where they're from or where they'd like to go, and what kind of problems they see in society that they would try to come up with a solution to. The reason it's called Capstone is because it really does put together all of the skills that they've learned at Rectory since they've been here. It forces them to make connections between classes that they may not have seen before.
We like each discipline to be represented within the Capstone project, and the discipline subject teachers all support the project along the way.
So it is really a kind of a culminating cross-curricular activity that they do in all of their classes. And then it all ends at the Capstone Fair at the end of the year, which is the most fun part. It's the exciting part where we get to see all of their passion and all of their knowledge. Their topics, interestingly, can go from African refugees and dive right into the issues of AI. So as you're walking through, you are presented with all of these issues that the students have put together, and from one to the next it gets more and more interesting, and then you get to the next row and it is a whole new world, and there's all these other different issues with equally passionate people. The smiles on their faces and the engaged conversations that they have with people, we're always impressed by how much they know and how many questions they can answer, and how deep they feel about it. People who come to the Capstone Fair always say there's never enough time. You want to stop and you want to talk to each and every student, and each and every student wants you to stop and talk to them. They're so passionate that they could sit there and talk to you for 5, 10, 20 minutes if you let them. The hardest part is walking away.
I love the variety of topics that we see when we walk into the Capstone Fair, and to go from booth to booth and to hear both how knowledgeable they've become about their topics, but maybe as importantly, if not more importantly, how passionate they've become.
There's something about the Capstone Fair that elicits this excitement, and everybody that comes, it's contagious. The kids are just so excited and so passionate that you become that excited and that passionate, and you leave with all of this information and some actual solutions of what you can do in your life to help these students with their projects. I love the inspiration that each student tries to give to everybody else. Students collectively are fairly nervous in the beginning because there's so much passion and work that has gone into it. They really want to make sure that they've done the best job and that they get across what they want to get across. A lot of our students want to educate the community. They feel passionate about what they've done for the last few months, and they are just worried about, will I get this across the right way? Will I be able to explain it and make people care? During the Capstone Fair, you can start to see those nerves melt away as they talk about it and talk about it and talk about it, because they are there for almost 2 hours talking about their project to everybody that walks up to them. So they are going over it multiple times, and at the end, they have this sigh of relief that it's over, but definitely you see their shoulders sort of back more, and their faces are, beaming. And they always say, I was really nervous in the beginning, but that was the best. I loved that. There was this one person who said that they were going to do something, and I think I inspired them. And to see that, I think they really see the authenticity of the project, and then the authenticity of themselves. Like, I can actually do something in this world. So the Capstone Fair is all of that on display in 2 hours. It's the nerves, the love, the passion, and the pride.
I think the greatest aspect of the Capstone project is that it's about student choice, and that it also reminds the students of the responsibility they have. This is why we attend school. We attend school to learn so that we can be contributing members of society, so that we can use the skills we've learned, the content knowledge, to better our world.
One of the most important things about Capstone is that it allows students to really put to test, like everything they've learned. And it puts to test, who they are as a student, but also who they are as a person, because there's a big element of independence there where they have to do a lot of this on their own with guidance, but it really shows them who they are. And at the end, my favorite part is when they all say, I learned so much about myself, And I think that is a really important part of what we do here at Rectory, is send them off knowing just a little bit more of who they are.
One of the things that stands out for me as I go through the Capstone Fair is the personal connection the students have to their topics. Things that I didn't know about them before, as they talk about a family member who may have experienced something having to do with what they've researched. And that personal piece, one, it makes the project much more meaningful for the students, but two, it's powerful for me to see that we provided an academic experience that has such personal connections for the kids.
The Capstone project is my favorite project because it gives ninth graders agency to be independent in their learning, but also to see themselves in the greater world and what they can do for it.
My hope is that Capstone remains a cornerstone piece of the ninth grade experience for years to come. I do think it can be one of the most meaningful, intellectually rigorous activities our students engage in that it really makes them think. And that's what they're going to need to do more and more as they move forward with their academic careers and their professional careers.
My hope for our graduating students is that they remember as they go forward in their academic careers, but also in their adult lives, that at one point they sat down and thought of an issue that was happening in the world that they cared about and actually came up with solutions to it. And instead of viewing it as these are other people's problems or other people will fix these problems, they see themselves in it as an agent of change instead of just an observer.
I hope that Capstone remains a critical part of the ninth grade experience for years to come, and that more and more folks will come to enjoy the fair and to learn all that these students have to share.